This is the prologue to our new series on this channel called The History of K-pop. Here we want to tell and analyze how things came to be, how it all started and progressed, how our favorite bands went into this world, and how they disbanded, just to be replaced by others. But before we make our journey through space and time into this magical and weird land of K-pop, we have to answer a serious question. What even is K-pop? And what are we talking about when we want to talk about K-pop? The K-pop industry is not exactly a music business. Even the names of the predominant companies tell us that much. SM Entertainment, JYP Entertainment, YG Entertainment. These companies do not specialize in the production of music. They are talent agencies and production firms that pride themselves in one thing above all: selling people, selling personas to the public. Someone that makes K-pop is therefore not a singer or a musician, but something very similar, but also completely different. An idol. K-pop is a mystery. It is both a worldwide phenomenon, but also a very niche sector within the music industry. It is much more than just music, but defines itself as pop, and while doing so, it lost its ability to differentiate between genres of music. What do I mean by that? Since we want to look at K-pop through the eras, I want to risk a peek into the here and now, the present of the industry. The craze around K-pop seems to not stop, but reaches frequent peaks in which the world seems to open up. One such craze was in 2012, when not only Psy dominated the international music scene for a bit, but then also got beaten in the first ever YouTube Music Awards. But not by Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber or Lady Gaga, but by Girls' Generation.
Of the year is Girls' Generation, I Got a Boy!
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
The reaction of the audience at that point says it all. Nobody even knew who they were. Pictures of confused people, a very quiet applause.
This is absolutely beautiful. YouTube is my best friend. Is YouTube your best friend? Oh my gosh.
What did this mean? That the youth was not as crazy about all those Western stars as one thought? Was K-pop the way to be? The answer is simple. No. K-pop stayed what it was, a niche. One might object here and say, what about 2017? DNA swept through the nations, BTS began their global domination, and Blackpink has even more clicks, is a worldwide spectacle since 2016. But that is not K-pop. That is BTS and Blackpink. And while K-pop definitely got more mainstream, the success of it must be measured by sales and streams, not by late-night show appearances or scream levels at airports. And when it comes to hard facts, K-pop is just not there yet. Let us take a look at the top 100 streamed songs on Spotify from week 26 in 2020. You know, the most beloved year in human history that we have the privilege to live through right now. More and More by Twice, the nation's girl group, the 9 angels that came to dominate our eyes and ears, charted on place 67 in its first week and went away afterwards, while Ariana Grande and her song 7 Rings is still at place 100. Weeks on the charts? 70. Believer by Imagine Dragons is 125 weeks in the charts now at 88. Shallow from Lady Gaga goes 2 down to 82 in its 91st week. I could go on. Billie Eilish, for example, seems to be physically incapable to fall out of these lists. Justin Bieber is here, of course, and if you ever asked yourself why so many K-pop groups try to appeal to the Spanish-speaking market, the Spotify Top 100 would answer that for you as well. Side note, Physical by Dua Lipa is in its 22nd week, but the version without Vasa. Admittedly, yes, Sour Candy by Lady Gaga featuring Blackpink is on 51, now in its 5th week and peaked at 5. But first of all, Lady Gaga has a higher scoring single from the same album in the charts, which puts into question if Blackpink really was a necessary part of this song for it to get this high on the list. And also, it is Blackpink, yes. Their new song How You Like That debuted this week on place 4. No doubt about their popularity. They will also stay in the top 100 for a while. At least 5 weeks, I would assume, since K-pop songs have a tendency to fall off quickly in these charts. You might wonder, where's BTS? To which I say, that is not what you should ask yourself. You should ask yourself, where's from NCT? Is One just released Secret Story of the and they're hugely successful. Where are they? Stray Kids and God's Menu maybe? And while we're at it, if by Imagine Dragons can be here since the USA declared independence, why shouldn't Mamamoo's be still somewhere in this list, right? Well, the truth of the matter is, NCT, Is One, Mamamoo, and Flying, Chonga, even bands like ITZY or EXO do not really have a chance here. They may get in this list, stumble into it, but they're out before you can text your friends and tell them about your favorite Bob getting the spotlight it deserves. And why? Because they're too bad? Just not good enough? The truth lies within the genre. K-pop is not as big. It is not even big enough to really compete. And just because some K-pop groups are big enough, doesn't mean that K-pop is big. Just like the continued success of Maroon 5 doesn't mean that all guys over 40 should act like they're still 25-year-old embodiments of teenage girl wet dreams. There's exactly one really successful girl group and one really successful boy group in K-pop when it comes to the high standards of international fame. And those two bands are BTS and Blackpink, if you like it or not. The rise of K-pop is therefore not one to the peak, but more the steady fight of an underdog against the giants of Western music. Pop music has two very distinct definitions that have nearly nothing to do with each other. Let us start with a simple one: pop as a genre. And when I say simple, then I mean freaking bonkers, because pop is not pop. There's art pop, teen pop, dance pop, progressive
new wave pop, hypnagogic pop, university pop,
sunshine pop,
operatic and orchestral pop.
Ooh, and the fusion genres include
baroque,
Latin pop,
indie pop, electropop, contemporary Christian pop,
smooth soul, pop punk,
pop rap,
power pop,
fusion,
smooth
jungle
jazz,
pop,
and R&B.
I hate you. It's really long. So
Pop is in of itself a genre of music that is not very well defined. One of its distinctions is literally that it borrows elements from other styles of music, and when it started as a term, it was just another word for rock. Only later those two genres became something different. The Beatles, Michael Jackson, Madonna, ABBA, these are some of the biggest pop stars in history. And they all have one thing in common: that they have nearly nothing in common with Red Velvet, Kang Daniel, Momoland or Icon. Well, not nearly nothing, but you know what I mean. Musically speaking, putting them in the same category would be like thinking of Johann Sebastian Bach, Skrillex and Slipknot and saying, yeah, that's generally speaking all jazz, totally. But why stop there? Because K-pop, that is Don't Recall from Card, She's Fine from Haze, The Roses Red, Girls' Generation with O, and BTS with Dionysus. Which is funny, because if you would ask me, I would tell you that Don't Recall is EDM, It's Fine would be urban indie music, Red would be pop rock or just rock, whatever floats your boat, O is bubblegum pop, and Dionysus, well, that's a rap song, isn't it? Still, all K-pop. If you like one, you should like all, right? you are a K-pop fan after all. Which is an interesting thing to say, because more often than not, we categorize things in a way that makes it easier for us to find similar things. Like a drawer where we know where to find socks, pants or shirts. If you like AC/DC, chances are that you like The Who, Guns N' Roses or Led Zeppelin. And if you like Justin Bieber, chances are that you like Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus or a stray cat meowing in front of your window at 4 a.m. It makes sense because it's all not the same, but similar in style and feeling. For K-pop, that is not the case. K-pop is not a drawer, but it looks more like that mountain of clothing we see in BTS's Spring Day. You can find everything in here. If I listened to Psy in 2012 and thought, oh, that is K-pop? Then I would be very surprised as soon as I listened to Miss A's fresh title Touch, or SHINee with their new single Sherlock. And if I go back to the early 2018 and listen to DNA by BTS, just to Google K-pop and find Boom Boom by Momoland, I would be confused and would question if I misspelled something or just didn't understand music genres anymore. Well, or I know what K-pop also means, because pop music is not just music from the genre pop, but also short for popular music. Yes, exactly, Korean pop is just that, music that is popular in Korea. End of mystery. It is as much a music genre as the top 50 charts from Colombia are. With one exception that K-pop seems to follow a few more rules now. Because honestly, if K-pop would just be that, just popular music from Korea, then what about those Korean artists that sing only in English? Or is BTS's Wasted on Me K-pop, even though they don't use even one Korean word? For that to answer, you must look at who created the term K-pop. Which brings us back to the companies. K-pop, or its original name Gayo, was a label used to promote music made in Korea. It was simply a way for corporations to tell customers in Korea, hey, you like these Western music stars? Guess what, we do the same, but made here in your country. Give it a shot and support homegrown artists. Later, when the international market became big, the same applied. You liked Wonder Girls? That's K-pop, and guess what, we got more where that came from. In a way, K-pop only means... Momo, tell them.
Made in Japan.
No, you had your chance and you blew it. It means made in Korea. Nothing more, nothing less. If what we love and listen to is just a generic label given to us by marketing people, what is K-pop worth then? How can something like that be so dear to so many hearts? I want to tell it to you as it is. It's a fact that K-pop fans all pretty much know, but do not like to be reminded of. K-pop is a business. A ploy of often heartless and very profit-oriented people that would, if you would stop listening to K-pop tomorrow, try to sell you cars or deodorant instead. Most of them don't like music. They don't like idols. They like money. Take a look at the companies you're dealing with here. Big Hit Entertainment is owned to 45% by its founder and CEO, Bang Shin-hyuk. Less than 50%. Other shares are in the hands of the purely profit-oriented investment firm STIC Investment Incorporated, and maybe even worse. Games, who own 25% and are notable for their ruthless exploitation of children in their games, where they use psychological tricks to make them pay more and more because of the brands they work together with. Disney, Marvel, and of course Big Hit. It doesn't end there though. Netmarble again is owned in part by CJ who control famous K-pop media partners like Mnet and TVN, but also the label Stone Music Entertainment, with artists like Davichi and Tu, as well as Eric Nam and Roy Kim. They also work with many other labels when it comes to distribution. Mamamoo and VIX are getting sold through them. It is all a net, made out of money and more money, all connected. And of course, CJ is much bigger than its entertainment wing. They also produce food, drugs, and build up digital infrastructure, as well as real one. Roads, bridges, power plants, name it, they build it. Is it a surprise to anyone that CJ fused with CJO Shopping to the new business unit Entertainment and Merchandising? It makes sense. If you don't buy, they don't make music. It is that simple, so why not make it official and fuse what was belonging together anyway? Most K-pop albums do not come to you from a music label, but from a company that simply specializes in sales. Sales of everything. And this is not the only example of these kinds of structures. Not by a long shot. SM belongs in huge parts to the Korean state. Nearly 10% are owned by the National Pension Fund. Which means that when SM doesn't produce good numbers, that has an effect on the pension security of the whole country. YG is more than 10% Chinese owned, with the infamous game developer Tencent and the Beijing Weiying Technology Corporation being major shareholders. Technology company Naver also owns over 9%. It gets even worse when you look at BlackBerry Entertainment, the company that gave us Luna. They are subsidiaries of Polaris Entertainment, who again are simply a subsidiary of the Ilkwang Group. Now, you may ask what the Ilkwang Group is. The answer is, they are arms dealers. The fate of Luna is, directly or indirectly, controlled by people who mostly make money through the trade with deadly weapons. Luna is nothing more than a little venture into another business to diversify their investments. Do you think that these people care about your favorite idols? Do you think that the Korean pension fund managers are sad when Wendy has to go to the hospital, or thought anything other than, how will this affect our quarterly earnings when Jonghyun took his own life in 2017? Do you think that Tencent, indirectly controlled by the Chinese government who couldn't care less about human rights violations, will protest against harsh training conditions for YG trainees, or wishes for better treatment of Blackpink? And does anybody want to argue that some weapon dealers are concerned for Vivi because their mental state could suffer from the fucked up line and screen time distribution in the Luna MVs? If you think that the companies, the owners of the music, make K-pop what it is today, then I would call you a lunatic. These companies are, without a doubt in my mind, more hindering the success and well-being of this industry than they are contributing to it. Then what about the fans? It must be them, right? And yes, the fan culture of K-pop is something special, something intense, something obsessive and often toxic. It is undisputed that the fans are not only contributing, but probably control the view others have when it comes to the genre. When my parents think of K-pop, they think of screaming teenagers and abusive stalkers. When I think of K-pop, I think of dedicated fans that entertain me with wonderfully crafted videos about idols, with fan theories about music videos, and about slightly creepy shipping of their favorite guys and girls, but mostly guys and guys. Still, there's the point of it all. K-pop needs the fans, like the fish needs the water, but that doesn't mean that a fish is water. It means that they coexist, that they are dependent. The fans will, like the companies, be a major part of this journey, but they are not what this is about. These videos are about the idols, about their journey, about the bands and about their successes and their failures. It's about heartbreaking tries to live a dream that proves to be unreachable, and about the improbable, maybe even impossible story of boys and girls that should have never made it, but fought the odds, got to the top, and into our hearts. The history of K-pop is the history of its idols, and this video series will celebrate their stories. So let us turn back time and start from the very beginning. In the next video, of course. Until then, from two fans to all the others, we hope that you will have as much fun watching as we have making these videos for you. Please stay safe, please Please consider subscribing for the beginning of our journey, and please, above all, take care of yourself.